Sleek, futuristic, and painted completely wrong. High-speed passenger trains have been a point of fascination for a lot of people, so it's no surprise that models of high-speed trains are fairly easy to find. For modelers who have a burning desire for accuracy, however, models like these are as welcome as an unexpected cold shower. Let's take each of them for a lap around the southern main line loop of the Northern Virginia Model Railroader's Western North Carolina layout. First up, the word Shinkansen in Japanese means new trunk line, but it has come to denote style, efficiency, punctuality, and speed. The Shinkansen service began in the late 60s as a way of speeding travel between three major Japanese cities by way of a brand new high-speed rail network. The standard gauge high-speed trains were not classified at first as they were the only trains on the line. Over time, as newer trains were introduced, these trains were retroactively classified as the Series 0. The Series 0 would remain in service until 2008, and are now museum pieces. They still hold the distinction of being the source of the phrase, bullet train. This model has appeared on my channel before. It is a Shinkansen Series 0 model made by Model Power, but is painted in Amtrak Phase 2 paint of the late 70s. So what makes this an inappropriate paint job? Well, for starters, the Series 0 is not only a Japanese train, it is an iconic Japanese train and the original bullet train. In service, they were painted white with blue stripes. This is not that. However, following the premise of, it's my railroad, one could say that the oft-fantasized high-speed line between Los Angeles and Las Vegas was actually built in the 70s, contracted out to a Japanese firm for the construction during the era of President Peanut, with these trains operating on the line as a result. Keeping with an Amtrak theme for the moment, let's look at our next abomination. Germany's ICE trains are the country's flagship high-speed passenger service. ICE stands for Intercity Express, and these trains live up to their name, at least when Deutsche Bahn is running smoothly, which some say is never. This model of an ICE 3 train set, which entered service in the year 2000, is made by Piko. Of all the high-speed model trains I've dealt with, this one can really fly. There is a speedometer that will show scale speeds on the layout. Let's see what this thing registers at full tilt. 240 scale miles per hour. That is only about 11 scale miles per hour faster than the real top speed of 229 miles per hour achieved by an ICE 3 during testing. Not too shabby. Now, how is the paint incorrect? Well, for one, Deutsche Bahn is not well known for the colors red, white, and blue. The real ICE trains are white with a red stripe. The Amtrak Phase 3 paint on this model was already out of use by the time the ICE 3 trains entered service in 2000. The paint could be seen as an adaptation of the Phase 3 heritage scheme used in recent years by Amtrak, though. Piko offers both DB and Amtrak versions of this train. As a matter of fact, this train came as a packaged train set from Piko, including a loop of track and a transformer. The powered cafe car has an 8-pin plug for a decoder, which I stuck a Loc Pilot in. It works fine. Okay, so why would Amtrak be buying an ICE 3? Well, say Bombardier had some difficulty delivering the Acellas, so Amtrak went back to DB after trying an ICE 1 and asked if they had any thoughts, only to be offered Americanized versions of the ICE 3 train sets for the run between Washington and Boston. Ridiculous? Maybe. Fun? You bet. I bought this because I think Amtrak's Phase 3 is quite obviously the best-looking Amtrak paint scheme, bar none, hands down. Sometimes liking the look is all the justification you need in model railroading. Lastly, we have an English high-speed train that is almost there, but not quite. In the early 1970s, British Rail had just barely gotten rid of their steam locomotives, but was looking for ways to modernize the existing network. The notion had been put forward to make a passenger train that could tilt and make for a faster and more comfortable ride on the existing network. Thus began the Advanced Passenger Train project. The Advanced Passenger Train, or APT, was to be a high-speed train that could tilt around corners, thus mitigating some of the lateral forces that would happen taking a train at high speed over winding 19th century railway lines. The first self-propelled test bed for the concept was the APTE, or Advanced Passenger Train Experimental. The train never ran a revenue run. It was purely a test train. Powered by gas turbine engines, the train cracked 152.3 miles per hour during tests. The APTE was considered a success, so it was placed in the care of the National Railway Museum, and work continued on the APT project. The production-run APT trains had a number of issues, ranging from rough and bouncy rides to claims of motion sickness. Many say that the trains were just badly designed. Others say that the issues were simply what happens when one takes a tilting train at high speed over 19th century infrastructure. Other successful tilting trains, such as the Pendolinos, demonstrate that the idea can work. So what makes this paint inappropriate? Well, the real APTE was a one-off, and was painted in a mostly white livery with a blue stripe. The Intercity livery seen here was actually used on the Class 43, or HST-125, diesel passenger locomotives, which were introduced in the mid-1970s. Some say that the Class 43s were intended to be a stopgap until the advanced passenger trains could really take off, but that was not to be. While some have been retired, a number of Class 43s can still be found working some passenger services today. The APTE never wore this livery, but what if the design worked out to the point that the APTE was copied and used in regular service? That could explain it, right? Right? When all is said and done, however, all three of these models have one thing in common. To the right modeler, they're fun, each in their own way. That's the point of this hobby, isn't it? Have fun with it, in whatever form or paint scheme that fun comes in.